Hey gang, Ronin here, welcome on back to the Cade, and what should be the end of our playthrough of the original Diablo from 1998 for the PS1, as ported by Blizzard and EA. I say it's going to be the last one because whatever happens between now and the time this episode is over, we will face Diablo and we will hopefully put him down. We did our best to trim the fat and get rid of all of his minions that were in his level on level 16 of the Labyrinth in the previous episode, and now all we have to do is come down and pull what's called the skull lever, and that should open up the secret passages that will both unleash Diablo and the rest of his lieutenants. Now I have stocked up on potions, so we are good to go there. I also swapped out my gold sword of speed for the trusty stone cleaver because it will do more damage and hopefully put me in a position where whatever else comes at us along with him, we can get through them as well. So, one of these two compartments down here at the bottom, either the one on the bottom left or the one directly south of me, is going to unleash Diablo if I'm not mistaken. And now we have a level open here. Oh yeah, Stone Cleaver takes one shot to go through these things. He's gone. Now there's another skull lever here. And another advocate sitting in the corner. But these hell horrors go down a lot quicker now that we're dealing that much more damage to them. I said, I gotta get rid of the advocate first. Battle axe I'm not interested in. Now what did that open? I think that opened the one on the other side. See if I can get around this. The funny thing is when I started this playthrough, I always kind of give myself a rough guesstimate of how many episodes it's gonna take. And because I do it when I set up all my episode graphics and stuff that you see when you go to click on the episode. And I gave myself for this one, I set it at 20. Just not entirely sure if I was going to get more of them or not. Well, this, if my math is right, and I can't guarantee that it is episode 20. Okay, take that advocate down. picking up potions of mana, which I would never actually think I was happy to see. Now I'm going to pull that lever last, because that lever is what is separating me right now from Diablo. If I pull it, he's coming. Now, I will also tell you that I remember Diablo being not as tough in this game as he is in Diablo 2. It's not to say he's a pushover, but it kind of depends on how you get him. Now, there's another lever down here. Sir Gorash. Alright, I'm gonna get out of here and deal with Sir Gorash.
Too much baggage.
He gives me full plate mail, which I may have to go check out. If I need to go back and get more potions. And you're stuck in the corner again. Studded leather armor, nothing of interest to me. Okay, a couple more skeletons. All right. Which means Diablo is in that unbroken square that I'm staring down at in that lower southeast quadrant. Which means we're only 8 minutes in, so we'll run back to town really quick. We'll see what this magical suit of armor is that I just picked up from Sir Gorash. It's not a unique item, so I'm not too enthusiastic about it. But also, we can do a fresh refill of potions and repairs if we need to.
Whoa, what can I do for you?
And I'm not going to fix that plate mail until I know what it is.
Hello,
Thank
my
you.
friend. Stay a while and listen.
Saintly full plate mail of deflection. 124% armor minus 4 damage from enemies. Armor 71. Yes, sir. May I have another? This is the sort of stuff that if you're lucky to find once in a playthrough, you hold on to it for dear life. Because even though this gives me fastest hit recovery and 94% armor, at 62 armor class, there's a big difference between that and 71.
Whoa, what can I do for you?
So I will gladly repair this, even though it takes 20,000 armor to, or 20,000 gold to fix. I'll still pay it gladly because it's more than enough to get me
What ails you, my friend?
a fresh inventory full of potions. Not that I think I'm going to need this many to deal with Diablo, but better safe than sorry. So now our armor class is 181. We take minus 4 damage from enemies. We still have the strength requirement. And we will ditch the last 2 bundles of 5,000 gold we're going to need. I'll tell you what, the first time I played this game and understood the way that the armor and all the equipment you pick up is procedurally generated, when you pick up something that has Saintly on it, it was far and away the best armor I had in the game. Now, I should, for the sake of argument, do what I did before and swap out all my potions for my gold and the items I want to keep and save the character. I'm not going to do that here. Instead, I'm going to pull lever 1. I'm going to pull lever 2. And now, Diablo is free. So let's see. Where he is. Okay, we also have mages to deal with. But now that we've whittled down everything else that's in here, by comparison to what we could have had to deal with, this is going to be a lot easier to handle, provided we don't get Diablo on top of it. And get the skeletons over here. All right, big boy, where are you? There he is. That is Diablo. And that flash he's sending out is nothing to mess around with. Alright, take more of these skeletons out. Alright, fat boy, come here. And like that, He's gone. And now we get the ending of the game. Which, being 25 years old now, I can't necessarily call this a spoiler. But I was surprised to see this happen as the warrior. I do not know if this is the same ending you get as the wizard or as the rogue. But Diablo turns into Albrecht, the son of the king. Who dies immediately. And then you have the Soul Stone of Diablo, and what do? You jam it right into your head. And you become Diablo. Which sets up Diablo 2.
The Soul Stone burns with hellfire as an eerie red glow blurs your vision. Fresh blood flows into your eyes, and you begin to hear the tormented whispers of the damned. You have done what you knew must be done. The essence of Diablo is contained. For now. You pray that you have become strong enough to contain the demon and keep him at bay. Although you have been fortified by your quest, you can still feel him, clawing his way up from the dark recesses of your soul. Fighting to retain control, your thoughts turn toward the ancient mystic lands of the Far East. Perhaps there, beyond the desolate wastes of Aranok, you will find an answer. Or perhaps, salvation.
And with that, we have successfully completed the original Diablo, and as they say in that prologue, you go in and you leave Tristram and head to the Far East, which of course is where Diablo 2 is set. So that, everybody, in a nutshell, over the course of 20 episodes, is the original Diablo from 1998 for the PS1. So we have 12 minutes to go, so it gives me plenty of time to do an assessment of it. And I'll start here. Is it a game that's aged well? Not particularly. I mean, with what the game is and what it was, it definitely shows its age. Let me put it that way. The controls are, by comparison to how subsequent Diablo games have been, as far as just being able to point and click on a PC, or when I played Diablo 3 on my PS3, being able to move around with my controller, it certainly is a lot more basic and a lot harder to get your character to go where you want them to go. Also, the way the maps are procedurally generated, you did notice there were times where I ran into obstacles that were in the labyrinth that I wasn't entirely sure how to get around. That speaks to the age of the game as well, and that it wasn't really all that well laid out to be able to make it so you can maneuver through those little tight corridors and pockets that much easier. As far as the combat goes, the combat definitely is on a curve. When you start out, the first 5-6 levels of the labyrinth, as you saw in the playthrough, were relatively easy. You're dealing with low-level enemies. They are coming at you in numbers, but once you get down into the second strata of the labyrinth and you get into that stone cavern with the lightning slingers and the goatmen and the magma demons and the acid spitters, that's when the degree of difficulty definitely ratchets up. And then once you get into more of the cathedral type parts of the labyrinth, where you have the mages and the succubi and the dark knights, and obviously Diablo, it gets even higher. And if you don't keep up as far as your equipment and your weaponry, then you are simply handicapping yourself and making life more difficult than it really ought to be. But as far as leveling up was pretty straightforward. Didn't have any issue with that. I mean, my character's level 23, so, I mean, is it like Skyrim where you get to like level 81? No, but you don't necessarily need to. If I play through it again, I'm pretty sure I can get to about level 50. But it's also not like New Game Plus stuff now where it naturally amps up the degree of difficulty for the enemies and things like that. Unless you want to choose to play the harder levels, again, you have, I think it's Nightmare and Hell are the other two advanced and elite levels, difficulties you can play in this game. You can certainly choose to do that if you want, but is it a good game? Yeah, I would say so. You have to understand, 25 years ago when this game came out, it was one of those titles that I will never forget seeing kids standing in line in a computer store to play the demo version. Mainly that was stuff that was reserved for actual video game stores, of which there were very few back then, and also arcades. You know, this was 1998, 3 years earlier, 5 years earlier, I should say. Kids were falling all over themselves to play Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat in whatever arcade cabinet they could find. Now you have the opportunity to play a truly revolutionary RPG that was going to be a sign of how things would be going over the next 20 years. And obviously we've gotten out of this type of isometric design and whatnot, but still with the procedurally generated dungeons, the randomness of the gear that you could pick up, that it had enough lore in a way that, for those of you who, and again, your knowledge is better than mine since I haven't played them, but from what I understand about the Soulsborne series, you know, all three Dark Souls and Soulsborne, or Bloodborne, I should say, you know, the amount of lore that you find in those games is just enough to pique your interest, but it's not enough to give you all the details. It's like that in this game. It doesn't tell you everything about Tristram. It doesn't tell you everything about the Sin War and Diablo and all the stuff that would unfold and be expounded on in Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and I can only assume now in Diablo 4, even though I haven't played it yet. So, if you've never played the original Diablo, and you want to, if you're looking to play Diablo 4, or if you're really into number 2 and number 3 and want to see what the original was like, by all means, give it a try. You can get it on GOG has a copy of it for pretty cheap, or you can do what I did and play it on an emulator. This is again on PC SXR for the PlayStation 1, although I do still have my original CD-ROM copy of Diablo for my PS1 that I can play on my PS2 whenever I choose. So, you know, are you gonna like it as much as a modern game? Probably not. But if you want to give yourself a challenge and kind of get an idea of where we were at this point in 1995, 6, 7, and 8, and see the progression of this series in particular, there's no reason why you shouldn't start with the original Diablo, just to familiarize yourself with it and kind of help add that to your general knowledge of the story and everybody that's involved in it. So, with that, I think we will close the book on this playthrough. So, as always, if you've enjoyed the content on this channel, best way to show it, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Remember, we do have Sports Saturday and Suckerpunch Sunday coming up this weekend, where we play a classic sports and fighting or fighting platform-based game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Ronin's Retrocade, as well as Threads at the same locale at Ronin's Retrocade, one word, no apostrophe. I am trying to get better about posting stuff on Threads. I do apologize about it. It is something that I was so used to being on Twitter for a long time, then getting off Twitter, that I have to get myself back into the flow and relearning the discipline of how to post stuff on Threads that will get people's attention and get, you know, start building that dialogue that I want to have with you guys as my audience. So on that front, spread the word about it if you can. The faster we hit our goal of 100 subscribers, the faster we unlock the YouTube customization algorithm, and we can make this channel, as always, bigger and better. This channel, guys, is all about you and the games that you want to be able to see me present to you. There are 6 consoles to choose from, thousands of games on each of those consoles. a lot of them I haven't played before. That's why I started it. So, you know, this is all about wanting to be able to create stuff that is things you guys want to see. And for some people who've chimed in to me on stuff they want to see me do going forward, thank you very much. I appreciate that feedback, and I do have that stuff listed down as things I will be revisiting later on. As far as our next playthrough, I don't have a set date for it yet. I have an idea of a title we're going to do, but I don't want to give that away too much right now, because like most things with the playthroughs, I do take a little bit of time off to recuperate and recharge the batteries before I dive back in. But as always, if there is a game you would like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive, SNK, Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a line on Instagram and or Threads. Again, any game from those consoles you want, guys, I'll give it a fair shake, and you'll get a half an hour at least of content that you can take a look at. And then if you want to try the games yourself, by all means, give them a whirl. But in the meantime, my name is Ronin. It's been great to spend this time with you. Thank you very much for joining me through this entire playthrough. Be safe, be well, happy gaming, stay cool out there. It's going to get hot again as we are wrapping up the dog days of summer. And I will talk to you again soon for some more content. Bye.